They fooled you again. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna find out how they fooled you. So, recently, there's been this big craze in the digging in the dirt world. Lately, everybody said, "Oh, well, we found the grave of Joseph at AVARIS." You know, now if you listen to this this film director, archaeologist, world traveler, whose first movie is Bible movie, he tells you that an archaeological site can only be dug up once, because then once you dig it up, you kind of fucked it up for everybody else. Alright, well, AVARIS is a famous name. It's not new. It's been dug up already. So when he said that, did he give away a big secret? See, this is the point of not falling in love with the goddamn man you're fucking interviewing just because of things that are coming out of his mouth. Because when he says things questionable, I fly all over the world, I haven't done one fucking movie yet, but this is my first movie, but I've been everywhere, then something is not right. He did this out of his own pocket. No, somebody fucking funded him. Somebody's been funding him. You don't take somebody with no name and send them to, like, what, one of the most infamous... AVARIS! Really? Send him to one of the most famous Egyptian sites. Well, let him tell you, well, this is how it's done. Once it's done once there, nobody can do it again. That's like virginity. Once you break the seal, it can't be rebroken. It's already crushed. Once you've, what? Stepped on the dead. Oh, well, if we go to AVARIS and dig 15 feet lower, we're going to find it. That sounds like somebody gave you a map. Now, wait, I bet you're wondering, wait, Alex, last video, you were all about this, and this video, now let me show you why. Because when you take the time to find out what they found at AVARIS, let me show you. Alright, you ready? You've been fooled again. You see this little fucking mushroom head? Statue of biblical Joseph found. The limestone find. They found limestone. That's what they found. They ain't find nothing else. Let me show you in a different way. Let me show you in just a drawn form. This is what they found. They found a stonework with an attempt to split the head, so it had a huge dent there. Defaced features. So whatever features were there, it wasn't like, so they defaced the figures. They found a throwing stick over the shoulder. It's not a throwing stick, it's a fucking whip. Unusual hairstyle or wig. That's not unusual hairstyle, it's afro. Now, this, right? Now they got that right there in color. But that's what they found. Let me show you again. They have this in color. But this limestone is what they found. You see the little color flakes under? You see the arrow, the little pointer? Right here, underneath, is where they found the color flakes, and that's how they know what color the hair was. That's the only reason why they know. Everything else is doctored. Everything else is fake. So this is the image that they came up with. And when you see this image, this is an image, here's an image of something that actually exists. I'm going to show you again. Here's the image they came up with. They settled on. You see how bright that red hair is? That is Caucasian bright red hair. That is not what they found underneath on the edge. Do you understand? If this was painted and this is paint, what was done to take all the fucking paint off? Do you see it's stone right there, but it's chalk white right there? They couldn't get all the brown off, so they painted white on it. I went to the University of Akron for 3.5 years studying graphic design. I've been in plenty of paint classes. Plenty of my classes revolved around the pencil lead and the paint tip of a brush. So somebody went back and repainted this. Because again, that's what they found. With the eye features gouged out and the face gouged out. Hey, how many people want to bet it had Negro features? I'm going to tell you why. Because all the other fucking statues in Egypt with Negro features. What'd they do to those statues? Well, they blew the nigga nose off the Sphinx. And if people find Egypt that don't look like Egyptians, and they don't want you to know, and they want to further themselves and claim that they were there, then they're going to destroy more statues before you, the person sitting in the ghetto, even you, the rich, sitting in your rich home, even know. Unless you're the rich guy that funded this stuff, then you're not going to know. This shit's all fake. This shit's all fake. So, what they really found looks like this. Yeah, let me click that other one again. Where is that at? Okay. That's what they really found. Do you see this in Latin tongue? See, the Latins didn't try to freaking hide what was there. See, you'd think this was actually a Latin hairstyle because the Latins knew what they were up against, because Greeks are Latin, Spaniards are Latin. This is why they used to mimic this hairstyle. Look, even in stone, you want to know what's unique about this? It's a fucking afro. You can't get around, it's an afro. That's the funny thing. That's the funny thing. No Caucasus people's hair grow like this. That's why in all your animated films, they draw the Negro people as what? Flower-headed people. Epic. Here, I'll go to Epic. I always think this movie's called Leaf. Ah, boy. So we'll look at the movie Epic. Alright? In the movie Epic, you have white people. But do you have black people in this movie? Do you have the so-called black race in this movie? You have white people and insects. Now, here's a dark-skinned person, but you could easily say that's a Latin person. And you know, the main character that everybody's fighting for, they don't really show her. It's the little girl with the flower on the head. Well, unless I get the name of the character, they're just gonna keep showing me goddamn Caucasians. There we go. When you're described in a movie, dear Negro, dear auto-chucheus person, you're shown in these forms. That's what your afro looks like in a Disney movie. There you go, Queen Tara, Beyonce Knowles. So if you thought they were trying to show you a Spanish person, they weren't. And if you look at the Queen Tara, she takes her hair and braids it into a crown, just like the Negro can too, but doesn't. Negro imitates its oppressor. This is a high-paid Negro with lots of stakes. So their oppressor says, dress like this, they must. So we'll look at that. The character on screen is darker than, well, Beyonce used to look darker. That could be a situation of skin bleach, but let's not go away from the main point. All right, Joseph's tomb found, and this is what they found. All right, now here's something else that mimics it. Now they found this at a Christian monastery of Abu Mina. All right, so what did they do to the face? The Asian, see this sharp point on the Asian eyes, even though they're destroyed, and Negro face, they knocked the nigger lips and the nigger nose off. See the pattern? Pattern of destruction. I don't like your image because I don't like God. This is what they want you to believe now. Now I'm going to show you how it's bullshit. You ready? Are you ready? I don't even have to go far. You ready? See how these are copies of images of the wall, but they've been drawn real pale. All right? Let's actually look at the wall. Now I'm going to show you the wall. See how these guys are pale, but they're a little bit darker? Let's look at the wall. Look how dark that dude is. That's what's actually on the wall. That dark-skinned person. See how his skin blends with the animals? Here's the big trick. That's why they put the animals on the wall, you dumb motherfuckers, so you could never say it was you. You don't have the complexion. See, this is my problem. Hate made you put millions of fucking dollars into trying to tell the public Joseph is Caucasian. But the Egyptians already knew you would do that. So they put animals on the wall to prove that your skin could never match their fucking fur. Alright, we last left off, okay, we were talking about these images and stuff, right? So, again, when you're depicted, when the Negro is depicted, see, here's the pictures of the walls. So you can't get around this. On the wall, they show you brown skin, right, in the ruddy deer. Ruddy deer, ruddy skin. The same color as the deer's skin is the flesh of the Israelites. Do you see there's the Egyptian right there? He's got darker skin. You see this Israelite here looks what? See this color of the elk matches that Israelite. See this color of the deer matches that Israelite. The elk and the deer are two different colors, but both ruddy. This is the importance of the animals being in the pictures, to show that the Israelites match in flesh the color of the animals. This is why I pulled my book out and put it up right in front of you. So when you see the Egyptians and the Israelites, you see the same skin tones to a great degree. Ruddy. Skin tones that match animals. This is why it tells you bronze skin, gold skin, fine brass skin. They all have one thing in common. They're yellow. Now I have no problem with this image of Egypt, because I can still tell this is Negro. The problem I have is if this is not the image of this stone, then don't fuck with the stone. Let the stone tell us the truth. Don't try to repaint the stone white to cover up the color that you cannot get rid of. See how her hair parts like that? Because that's an afro. That's not a head cover. Even when you see head covers that are like that, it still only works with afros. See, it's hard dealing with this. See, it's not the white public that's my enemy. It's the white man lying to the public with all the wealth to keep his caste system into place. These images don't match what was there. These images don't match the second race depicted on the walls. These images open up so somebody can say, is this the face of Joseph? That's where they want this bright red hair. Type in red hair, I bet you see pale, very pale Caucasians. Let's do it. Let's do it. Why do you think I got the toe people up there? Type in red hair. Google image. Very pale people. Right? This is what they're gonna say was in Egypt. Really? This is what they're gonna say. The stone depicts something completely different. Here's another stone. In the Christian monastery of Abu Mina. What did they do? They ripped the lips off. Right? That lip, that nose, you cannot get away from it. That's like if you saw Gonzo. You'd always know it's Gonzo because the way his nose is. Let's see the damaged statues in Egypt. Right? We don't want the nose there because it looks too nigger. Right? We don't want the Sphinx head there because it looks too negro. Why would people draw their images in stone? So you knew what they look like. Why would somebody destroy images in stone? So they can claim the land. Did George Washington come over here? Did Theodore Roosevelt have the great idea? Oh, well, stones in land mean ownership, so let's carve our face in the mountain. Let's carve our face in the mountain that we stole. Look at that. Look at that. That's live. You can see how far back that statue is in the background. We can stare at that picture here all we want. You can see the shadow in the background of that picture. You don't see the shadow there. They're face to face with it. What happened? They couldn't lighten that one up? Couldn't lighten it up. Look at that nice, sharp, groomed afro. Good job, man. Good job. I wonder why his image hasn't been busted up. You know? So, when you're depicted in anything that has to do with the education or entertainment of little Caucasian children. Now, I can say that because historically, as we look at all these damn videos, that's what you see. Show me the Negro in Disney's Cinderella. Show me the Negro in Disney's Little Mermaid. Shut the fuck up. Difference. Don't worry about spotting the difference. This is the difference. When you're depicted, you're drawn Spanish. When your children are depicted, they're depicted as autochoche as what? Forest spirits? Well, you got Mario, the Italian. Well, you got Rome, the Italians. Where's the Negro in the Mario games? Real fucking small so you can walk on. You walk on flowers, don't you? When people walk on flowers, they don't think to say, oh, it's alive. Oh, excuse me. But they draw themselves in the forest as little people. You better not step on no little people. Right? Tell me if I'm saying something that's not visually depicted. It's visually depicted because it's what? Stereotypical to say. Where the black kid and Charlie Brown? Shit. What are all these pictures? Who are all these pictures for? If they're marketing, are they marketing to one race? Or to a racial divide? Pale? Here's all the Charlie Brown kids. There's an afro right there. A little brown kid right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See the different hair right there? 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Sorry, one in the background. 1 and 9. Out of every 10 kids, they need or have to legally depict one. The token black. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters, 9 characters on screen, and the 10-to-1 ratio is checked off. Do you see the game? They want your money when it has to do with what? Food and hair products. And clothes. Other than that, they don't give a shit about you. You are depicted as toads. A toad is something that is disgusting. A frog is wonderful. Nobody eats toad stew. People eat frog legs, but you're a toad. Mushrooms, you walk on them. They are a delicacy. Now, this is how you're depicted as small forest creatures that are what? That do not have a voice. Well, here's the problem. If you make a voice for yourself, when your voice begins to be heard, they do what? They send them after you to silence you. They're playing with your faith. Lucifer's job, his task, is to make you think he can sustain in battle against the Creator. He knows he can't. He's been given orders. Lead the wicked. The wicked need a leader. That's all he's doing. The wicked can cut you down tomorrow. They have no say on Judgment Day. You've got to understand what's truly going on. They want you to think that this is what's going on. The patterns of evidence show that Caucasians were in Egypt. In fact, they were Joseph and Joseph's children. No, that's not a pattern of evidence. That's the point of them using the word evidence and truth. To sit there and to trick your mind into thinking this is real. That this is real. But this isn't. What's real is this. What's real outside of AVARIS is this. To show that people walked around with afros in the shape of fucking mushrooms. It was the shit. It was the style. This is evidence because it's drawn to the exact measures. You can go to the stone and you can go to the depiction and they match. That's where it gets fake. They've added color. They want you to think it's a light red-headed person. That's not here. Down here, those little speckles look the same as it does down here. Those little speckles look the same color brown as the animal here. You can't glance at this stuff and expect to know the truth. Glancing at the shit will say, oh, okay, patterns of evidence is correct. This statue of Joseph supports the Bible. So now they make a link between their visual of the statue and their version of the Bible. That the Caucasians are what? The oppressor and the oppressed. If the Caucasian's the oppressor and the oppressed, then what is the black? What is the brown? What is the Afro peoples? Just to be marginalized, overlooked. See, you fucking gotta wake up to this shit. Let's do it again. Go to the definition everybody's tired of hearing. I'm glad you're tired of hearing it. Afro-Asian. You're not even Negro. You're Asian. They just don't want you to know. Afro-Asian refers to a person of mixed black African and Asian ancestry. Now, this means you have a black African mom and an Asian father. Abraham. The term can also refer to modern descendants of Aboriginal, mostly uncontacted with the Caucasus race, Asian ethnic groups such as the Negritos. Now, that's a code dropper, because the Negritos are a branch of the Negroid. So if the Negritos are Asian, the Negroids are Asian. Oh boy. And yes, the Canaanites are classified as Afro-Asian too, because Ham, black father, Cham, however you want to say it, sent his son, Canaan, black father, into Asia. Yellow women. So Hebrews and Canaanites, not all Africans, Canaanites are classified as Afro-Asian when they have afros. Historically, Afro-Asian populations, I will spread you to the four corners of the earth. Populations have been marginalized. Let's look at marginalized again. See, I don't want you to forget these words because you want to pick and choose when you want to watch. Pick and choose. We'll open Afro-Asian in another window and then we'll put the word marginalized right there. Now, I can do, look Mom, one hand. Alright. To place in a position of marginal importance. What does marginal mean? Right between the margins. It means boundaries. Boundaries. I can't underline that. Why would it be like that? Well, let's just get rid of the suffix. There we go. Marginal. Pertaining to a margin. Situated on the border or edge. Now let's say we live in a caste system and we're pushed to the edge of the caste system. Let's say the caste system puts a spotlight on everybody that's in the caste system, but we're pushed to the edge of the caste system. That means the spotlight barely falls on us. When it falls on us, it's in sports and entertainment. Entertain your fucking master. Entertain the masses at the same time, so the masses will never go and kill the master. As Metallica sings to its master, the master of puppets. Puppets don't do their own will. They are soulless. When you do acts that are considered immoral, that makes you, the term we use, soulless. So, let's recap. White people with a lot of money, not poor whites, not middle class. Oh, there's no more middle class. Not rich whites, but wealthy whites sent rich whites out on a excavation. They found a statue. They came back and told the public, the statue depicts this. But they whitewashed the statue and left evidence of whitewashing. See, I'll show you how there's evidence of whitewashing. Do you see how it says the eyes were destroyed? You can see a lot of the face was destroyed. When we look at this, it says the eyes are gouged out. Eyes gouged out. If the eyes are gouged out, why did somebody take a paintbrush and paint the same white right here that they painted in the hole of the gouged out eyes? See, if the eyes were gouged out, it'd be the same part, this be the same color as this piece up here being gouged out. See how that's gouged out? And there's no white there. But down here, there's gouge right here, and then there's white right there. Just a little bit. That means somebody accidentally put it in there. There's a bunch down here. That means somebody did it on purpose. They wanted the facial underneath features to be white, and then up top, they wanted something else. When they tried to paint that in and make it look like it's old, because that's what artisans do, they tried to what? Forge things. They failed, so then they had to go to a computer-generated image. Now, they didn't want to stick with this computer-generated image, so they tried to do another computer-generated image that made it look closer to the stone. Now, why do I say that? Why do we have this stone with nothing on it, and then we have this stone to mimic it? Because one of the first things you're taught in art school is how to take foam and make it look like rocks. Because rocks are heavy, and if you want to build a set, a stage, you can't take heavy rocks and put it on there. So again, why does this have color and the real? Well, we don't even have to go that far. Look at this. And the real doesn't have stone. How to make a... That's what I should title this. How to make a forgery. Because that's what it is. It's a forgery. This is a forgery. See the animal look all gray and don't none of their flesh match that animal? But in the real, the flesh matches the animal. See, there's a uniqueness about telling history through stone. You're telling it on stone because you already know people come behind you after you've died and try to take your story. Genesis 6 says that Nephilim are also considered people that are well known throughout the world. So if somebody wants to be well known throughout the world, but they ain't did shit, then sometimes they want to take your name. So that's why you have people that come to Lexwill's channel And when Lexwill's trying to teach, people sit there and start typing a lot of information that has nothing to do with what he's teaching, because they're trying to steal his thunder. See, this is Joseph's thunder and Joseph's kids with their beards and their afros. So, I don't know if Joseph would have been seen without a beard, especially since most of the Egyptians put on fake beards. But an image like this opens up the gateway for other Caucasians to say this. Now, what does he say? By faith, not by trickery. See, this is trickery. All Caucasians know that they can't exist down there without burning. There's no forest. Egypt is sand. So you're telling me you're going to have one Caucasian ruler that's covered by fans? Women and men walking around blocking the sun from him, but the rest of the Caucasian race is out there burning up in the sun? See, you can't make one white ruler in Egypt without having poor white people there too. That's the part you're missing. You can't walk around in Egypt with 7 layers of clothes. You can't walk around in Egypt wearing heavy fur. It's too hot. So you never thought about this shit when you tried to say, we were there. You're not depicted on the walls anywhere. The people that are yellow, what we call, they're Shinnah. They're Sinites. They're still yellow today. These images aren't going to fly. The GOCC had a guest on, and they couldn't even discern with their Holy Spirit, or their version of the Holy Spirit, what the truth is. 3 days I've been waiting to make this video. Alright? Because 3 different major topics have been addressed by having this one liar on. Okay? Excavation and footage, an image, and the GOCC's own doctrine are all under attack just because they had one guest on. The guest tells you the image goes against, he doesn't say it in these words, but it's what's said. It goes against their beliefs. When the guest tells you light skin and red hair, your master jumps to conclusions. He says, we should think about Mark. That looks like Malcolm X. Ooh, that everybody says looks... He doesn't communicate with that many people. So he's putting that thought in your head. That little militant Malcolm X would be in the same association with frail Mark. This Christianized Bible camp has been grouped with other Christians, and these other Christians are bringing you white supremacy to your doorstep, and you don't even understand it. These people are saying, oh, well, if we believe the rest of the Bible, see, this is what you don't see, it's the growth of Christian mentality. If we believe in the end of the Bible, we should at least believe in the beginning of the Bible, but there's nothing in the beginning of the Bible that supports our white Christ. Wait, don't they already say that Christ is just the story of Joseph retold? Yes. Don't they say, well, God would have did it in this pattern so that we would understand when Christ came that this is Christ and why? Yeah, they say shit like that. So what they're doing is they're taking a paintbrush and they're painting over the Old Testament. See, the Old Testament is fucking words and nobody wants to read today. This is why I encourage you to read for yourselves, because your description is given to you. You look like the Ethiopians. Guess what? The Ethiopians are what? Yellow and ruddy, and they match animal fur. You look like the Ethiopians unto me, O Israel. Description of what? The one that will walk out of the tribe of Judah. That means this is the description of all fucking Judeans. Bronze skin and wool hair, and their hair turns white. I've never seen anybody like that. I've never seen anybody like that at all. That must mean their skin. That must mean their goddamn skin turns white. See, here's the problem. When racist people fuck with your literature, then how do you combat that? How do you combat that without sounding racist? Hold on, suit and tie. Well, when racism strikes, we need to be better than that. Thy Lord says an eye for an eye. Okay? So when your white lies come into my black words, ink is black, fool. When my black words are affected by your white pages, then we've got an issue. I've told myself many times I will not pray against you. Not yet. That changed. That has changed. I'm going for it now. I know what to pray for too. Here's the fucked up part. I'm going to share with everybody what to pray for too. When you take things from nature, sometimes it's not made for your body. Sometimes you need this much of it added with this, but this much of it to activate this. And that's too much for your body to handle. There's a word, right? And we need to add that word to our prayers. And it will be the destruction of this. And then Pharmika will no longer work for them. We can break Pharmika just like that. Just like that. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to break it with the mind. I don't even have to go out of my way to touch it. I don't have to touch people. I don't have to go and buy a fucking sniper rifle and fucking pick some spot or anything like that. All I gotta do is pray. That's the messed up thing. Here's the messed up. It's not even gonna hurt people if I pray. It's gonna hurt a conglomerate. It's going to hurt a demon. I think I'm well studied for this now. It's not a ritual. I just get on my knees and I pray. That's interesting. I've known it for a while. And it's almost like I've refused to pray this prayer. Because I know what's going to happen. It's nothing special about me. It's just, there's a riddle. Can you solve the riddle? And then there's a word at the end. And it's just a weird word. And I've told you the riddle. You need it in your body to stop Pharmika from killing your body. And the same thing is here. It's outside of your body too. In a metaphysical sense. No, I'm not metaphysical, and you fucking know I'm not. But it's a code. See, we are in what you'd say a matrix. You need the elements of breath, which is Hayah, Haya, the breath, to be able to deal with it. He made the people so that they could save the Gentiles. The evil Gentiles twisted it so that the people can't save the world. They turned it into a story of one. And that's why a bunch of people look at me like I'm the one. But there is no one, there's many. They will cut me down. And a new flower, a new toad, a new mushroom will pop up. It's just that simple. What'd that guy's hair look like? Something like that, right? I don't have a mirror. If I'm under the shower, it pulls my hair strands straight. And then they curl under just like that. See, I'd have to grow my hair to even know I can mimic that mushroom. That fluffy mushroom. See that shape? Right there? I'm not making that up. If I take a hairbrush, I don't have a brush. Stop brushing my hair, there's no point. Our hair isn't to be brushed. I mean, it can be, but you know what I mean. There's the hairstyle. With no mirror. You fashionable bastards know what I mean. You've been tricked, you've been lied to, and I've caught it at the beginning. How many other people do they have on that show that lied to you? How many guests, when I was a member of the GOCC, how many radio shows did I listen to when I come on and found the guest lying? Isn't that how I got half of you to listen anyway? I could catch the lie. Isn't that why the other half of you don't like me? Because I caught the lie of the GOCC and I broadcast it. When this Bible, where's my Bible at? Usually right there. It's over there. When that Bible says that the name of the sign, the Lord shall give you a sign, a virgin shall give birth, should be Emmanuel, God is with us. When that is highlighted in Solomon, in the book of Solomon, it says the demons say they are afraid of Emmanuel. Different name. Don't think they changed the vowels. It's a different name. One's a sign, one's to exorcise demons. When that information is there and the Bible camp tells you to stay away from a scripture in the Old Testament, ain't that the same thing that the Christians told you? The same thing that the Christians that came over and destroyed your dark-skinned ancestors told you? Enslaved your dark-skinned ancestors? Said, forgive us for what we did. This is our God, Christ. Accept our God or die like they did. Wait. Answer first and then forgive us. If you die, I mean, you can't forgive us, so. Right? Baptize people before they killed them. Let me kill you and make sure you're aligned with Christ before you die. Let me kill you and make sure you are not aligned with the Creator or any other God, but make sure you're aligned with Christ before you die. Here is something that you're not going to understand. Colonization never ended.